Maria Sharapova is 23 years old and the highest paid sportswoman in the world. In fact, when you see her wearing Nike, remember she's been paid $70 million simply to put those clothes on. It's an extraordinary story because were it not for an accident at a nuclear power station in 1986, she might possibly have lived her life without even being recognised as a tennis prodigy. Remarkable. She's coming to New Zealand for the ASB Classic in January, the biggest get in the history of the tournament, and she told me she's determined to get back to her best after an injury and continue the fairy tale that began before she was old enough to even go to school.
Yes, obviously I started at a very young age, there's no doubt about it. I think that the sport kind of, it brings that to you. You start playing, I started when I was 4, and that's kind of, the average age of when, all tap athletes start. Probably 6 is maybe already a little bit too late. So you start very young, you mature as the sport grows. It teaches you so many things. I was fortunate to achieve so much that I have until the age of 23. But every time I step on the court, I really love what I do. Obviously, hitting tons of balls and practicing isn't the most exciting thing, but you know that that's what ultimately leads you to great results and victories and holding up those trophies. And that's what I always look forward to when I'm on the practice court.
Maria, of those trophies and tournaments, still the most extraordinary one to me is Wimbledon. You were 17, you beat Serena Williams, who was top seed and overwhelming favourite. And you seem not even to believe you'd done it yourself.
Oh, it's certainly one of the most exciting moments in my career because it came so unexpectedly, and it was one of those pinch me moments where you get down on your knees and you start thinking of what actually just happened, and you really express yourself in a way where you never really thought possible. You didn't know that all that work that you've done ever since you're a little girl with your parents behind you every day, the way there, that moment comes true. And as a young girl, you dream of being #1 and you dream of winning Wimbledon, but you never really know if or when that's going to come in your life or your career. And for it to happen when it did and the way it did, I never thought I was physically or mentally ready to achieve that at 17 years old, and I think that just made it that much more special.
Maria, you talk about playing as a young girl. Can we go back to Belarus and, of course, your trip to Chernobyl? Your life is so tied in with that catastrophe because, as terrible as it was, it also launched a chain of events for you that did, in a way, lead you to where you are today, right? Well, the whole story, has a big place in my heart because both of my parents were actually from Belarus, and when my mom was pregnant with me, we were still in Belarus, and that was the time of Chernobyl, and because of Chernobyl, we fled to Russia, and that's one of the reasons why I was born in Russia, actually. Otherwise, if there was no Chernobyl, I probably would have been, born in Belarus. And so we were very lucky with my family and even my grandparents that we were able to leave those areas before anything big or catastrophic really happened. And this was just an opportunity for me to really look back and be really thankful that that my family and I were able to get away from the situations, and now is really a time where I could really help the others. And I started working with the United Nations about 3 or 4 years ago, and in the beginning, my whole goal was just to send a message to those people in the 3 countries of Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia that we know that you're still being hurt on a daily basis from everything that's happened from Chernobyl, even though it happened so many years ago. And now we're actually doing things physically. We're building centers, working on different projects in those areas. Next is a sports center that I'll be looking forward to build, not just tennis, but it's all about a healthy lifestyle. There's a lot of depression in that areas, and it's something that, at the end of the day, I can look back and say, I put a smile on a few people's faces, and that makes me smile. And I think at the end of the day, it's so important, it's so gratifying, it's one of the best things you can do.